Let's start with the man at the center of all this noise. The name that keeps popping up no matter where you look in golf right now. Scottie Scheffler isn't just another talented player riding a hot streak. He's not a temporary headline or a lucky run of form. He's one of the coldest, sharpest forces this generation of golf has ever produced. Calm, calculated, ruthless when it matters most. Born on June 21st, 1996 in Texas, Scheffler's story doesn't begin with luxury academies or flashy hype. It starts the old-school way, with backyard swings and a kid who couldn't put the club down. The obsession kicked in the moment his father handed him that first golf club. From that day on, it wasn't a hobby anymore. It was a mission, while other kids were experimenting. Scottie was grinding. He tore through junior tournaments with the kind of quiet dominance that made coaches stop mid-conversation. He wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. He just kept winning. By the time he reached high school, there was no debate anymore. Everyone knew this kid was built different. College only sharpened the edge. From 2015 to 2019, Scottie Scheffler represented the University of Texas at Austin, wearing Longhorn orange and turning every round into a statement. This wasn't just talent developing. This was a future superstar loading in real time. Every swing looked intentional. Every decision screamed confidence. And the trophies followed. Big 12 Player of the Year, Ben Hogan Award, Fred Haskins Award. These aren't participation prizes. These are legacy awards. Hardware reserved for players who separate themselves from everyone else. In 2017, Scheffler didn't just help Texas reach the national championship. He owned the moment, walking away as the tournament's most outstanding player. By the time his college career ended, amateur golf had nothing left to offer him. So in 2019, he turned pro and wasted absolutely no time. Scheffler hit the Korn Ferry Tour like a storm. No adjustment period. No easing in. Just immediate dominance. That same year, he claimed Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year and the Tour Championship title, making it painfully clear that this wasn't hype. This was inevitability. His PGA Tour rookie season only confirmed it. 4 top 10 finishes. A fearless third-place finish at the PGA Championship. Pressure situations that break most rookies? He handled them like he'd been there for a decade. By the end of the season, his PGA Tour car was locked in for 2019 to 2020, and from that moment on, the rise never slowed. Then came the world #1 ranking. Scheffler first grabbed the top spot in March 2022 and didn't just visit it, he owned it. In total, he spent 34 weeks as the best golfer on the planet, including a jaw-dropping 29 consecutive weeks from March to October that same year. That's not luck. That's sustained dominance in the deepest era golf has ever seen. And the way he does it, that's what separates him. Scheffler's game is pure control, deadly iron play, surgical approach shots, a short game that refuses to panic, and putting that stays ice cold when everything's on the line. While others unravel under pressure, Scottie stays exactly the same. Same tempo, same walk, same expression. He makes pressure look boring, and that's terrifying for the competition. Off the course, he's just as steady. No chaos, no headlines, no drama. While players like Phil Mickelson or Patrick Reed always seem to drift toward controversy, Scheffler stayed locked in. He shows up, competes, and lets the scoreboard do the talking. Maybe it's because he's still early in his prime. Or maybe it's because he simply doesn't chase noise. That's why, when Scottie Scheffler finally speaks up, people listen. And this time, what he's talking about has the entire golf world on edge. Because right now, professional golf is at war with itself. LIV golf didn't just arrive. It detonated. A 54-hole format. No cuts. Shotgun starts. Loud music. Smaller fields. And most importantly, money that didn't even sound real when the rumors first leaked. Massive guaranteed contracts. Life-changing paydays. Checks so big they forced every golfer alive to ask a dangerous question. Does loyalty still make sense? The PGA Tour couldn't ignore it. Whispers turned into exits. Exits turned into a migration. And suddenly, the sport was split down the middle. Traditional legacy versus disruptive power. Through all of it, Scottie Scheffler said almost nothing. He stayed focused. He kept winning. He refused to fuel the rumor mill, which is exactly why his recent comments landed like a bomb. They weren't loud. They weren't emotional. They were calm. And that's what made them hit harder. When the best golfer on the planet quietly questions where the game is headed, the entire sport freezes. Because Scheffler doesn't speak for attention. He speaks when something feels fundamentally wrong. And right now, in his words, golf needs clarity, unity, and direction. That line alone sent shockwaves. Because the constant tug-of-war between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf is ripping the sport in half. Players are divided. Fans are confused. Sponsors are uneasy. And no one knows what the final version of professional golf is supposed to look like anymore. Scheffler isn't choosing sides for drama. He's calling out the instability. His entire career has been built on discipline, structure, and focus. So when he says a game feels off balance, it's not noise, it's a warning. And the PGA Tour knows his voice carries weight in rooms most players will never step into. A huge part of this chaos comes down to money. LIV Golf is powered by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, a financial giant that's been aggressively buying its way into global sports. Critics call it image cleaning. Supporters call it evolution. Either way, it's changed everything. And it worked. Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Sergio Garcia, Henrik Stenson, Patrick Reed, Bubba Watson. These aren't fringe names. This is an all-star lineup that forced the PGA Tour into survival mode. The response was immediate and aggressive. Lifetime bans for players who teed it up in LIV events. Ryder Cup exclusions. Tightened rules. And then the money started flowing. Prize purses exploded. Events jumped to $20 million. The Players' Championship ballooned to $25 million. The PGA introduced an earnings assurance program, guaranteeing players at least $500,000 if they competed in a minimum number of events. Then came the biggest structural shift of all, designated events. 17 elite tournaments stacked with the best players, designed to create must-watch weeks without calendar chaos. On paper, it worked. Fans loved it. Players loved the clarity. The competition level skyrocketed. Even some PGA loyalists admitted it. Jon Rahm, fresh off his 2023 Masters win, set it straight. Without LIV Golf, these changes wouldn't have happened. He even added that the PGA probably should have made these player-friendly moves years earlier. But here's the twist. One change didn't land smoothly at all. The removal of cuts. Starting in 2024, 8 designated events feature limited fields with number 36 hole cut. Roughly 70 to 80 players. Massive purses. Everyone plays all 4 rounds. And that's where Scottie Scheffler drew the line. Cuts are part of golf's DNA. They create pressure. They punish mistakes. They separate contenders from passengers. And removing them? To Scheffler, that risks changing the soul of the sport. He didn't attack it aggressively. He stayed measured. He admitted he was 50-50 on cuts. From a player's perspective, cuts matter. From a sponsor and fan perspective, maybe less so. But then he said something that lit the golf world on fire. He suggested that if he played terribly in a no-cut elevated event the week before a major, he'd rather be pulled from the tournament altogether. That comment exploded, because what he was really saying was this: without cuts, bad golf becomes meaningless theater. No consequences, no urgency, just grinding through rounds that don't matter. And no elite competitor wants that. Even Rory McIlroy admitted that these LIV-triggered changes expose cracks in the system. The PGA may have solved one problem, but created another. And Scheffler isn't alone. Veteran Ryan Armour echoed the concern, warning that the new structure could actually push players toward LIV instead of keeping them loyal. His argument was simple and brutal. Finish 75th in the standings? You might miss designated events entirely, even after a solid season. And then what? Why stay loyal to a tour that locks you out of its biggest stages? That's the irony. The system built to protect the PGA stars could fracture the middle class that keeps the tour alive. That's why Scheffler's comments matter so much. This isn't about cuts versus no cuts. It's about direction, identity, integrity. He's not asking for chaos. He's asking the sport to slow down and think before it loses what made it special in the first place. Because once golf becomes guaranteed checks and appearances instead of earned battles, something vital disappears. And when the world number one speaks like that, everyone listens. So now the question shifts to you. Are you riding with Scheffler's stance? Or do you think the game has to evolve, no matter the cost? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, because this story isn't finished, and the next move could redefine golf for decades to come.